Back to the morning song beat.
Good morning, Pauline, and good morning. I can't see all these people here.
Good morning, Daryl and Tony.
Good
How
morning,
are you?
Pauline. And
Morning.
let's see. Who is this other person? I can't see it either. It's small print. Riaz Tarzadeh.
Good morning,
Riaz.
Riaz.
Yes. Hope everyone is doing well this morning. You know, we've got some nice weather here. I hope the weather where you are is just as nice as it is here. A few clouds in the sky. I don't know why I'm giving the weather report, but a few clouds in the sky. I don't know. You were outside. Is it? I went out like late last night. It was pretty
It's a
chilly.
little chilly.
But it's supposed to be getting pretty nice this morning.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
So, I guess we're ready to start. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my friends. God's blessings upon you. Let's praise the Lord together, my friends. We have all awakened in God's shelter. Now we've come to praise His name together. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good
My
morning.
friends,
My friends.
sing Hosanna.
Hosanna.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Allow a power.
Tony, somehow you got muted. I apologize. You need to unmute yourself.
The volume completely disappeared on your end.
Pardon to the folks in Facebook, but the Zoom people got muted. I don't know why we got muted, but I'll tell you what. We're just going to stop the song. It muted us right in the middle of the song. Mouse was nowhere near my hand, so I refuse to take responsibility for that. That's one of those little weird technical things that happens. But we do hope everyone is doing well. We'd like to say good morning to Andy and Pauline and Fushang and Riaz and Terry. And as always, wait a minute, I'm missing. So, oh no, I'm not missing anyone. I'm missing Jeremiah. But how you doing, Jeremiah? Hope everything's good. And Olga is joining us from Russia this morning. Good morning, Olga. We're glad you're here. And of course, we have the lovely and talented Nini Ha joining us this morning. Good morning, Nini. How are you?
Good morning.
You good? Yeah. How you doing today, Daryl?
I'm good.
You good?
How are you doing today?
I was doing fine until the whole thing muted us, and it's like, okay, you know, I was put in that position of, do I keep going? I know they can't hear me, but I know they can, and so anyway, these things happen, and hey, it just goes that way sometimes. Stuff happens. So let's go ahead and say a prayer. This is a prayer for humanity. O thou compassionate Lord, thou who art generous and able, we are servants of thine sheltered beneath thy providence. Cast thy glance of favor upon us, give light to our eyes, hearing to our ears, and understanding and love to our hearts. Render our souls joyous and happy through thy glad tidings. O Lord, point out to us the pathway of thy kingdom, and resuscitate all of us through the breaths of the Holy Spirit. Bestow upon us life everlasting, and confer upon us never-ending honor. Unify mankind and illumine the world of humanity. May we all follow thy pathway, long for thy good pleasure, and seek the mysteries of thy kingdom. O God, unite us and connect our hearts with thy indissoluble bond. Verily thou art the giver, thou art the kind one, and thou art the Almighty. And this is a prayer from Abdu'l-Baha. And I think I pray that prayer a lot, even for our program here, but I love that prayer. And let's see, we have someone else here. Oh, that's Riaz. Good morning, Riaz. And I don't know if I said hi to the folks in Facebook land, but I'm going to go ahead and make it official. Hello to the folks in Facebook land, so now we're Facebook official. And as always now, I like to, this is something, as you know, Daryl, I just kind of recently started doing, but I always like to, even though I know we're going to be running into some, we're going to be covering some passages directly from Baha'u'llah, I always like to include a little something at the beginning of our devotion here. And this is, again, this is from Gleanings, and for anyone who wonders which passage in Gleanings, this is 132, if I'm reading the Roman numerals right. And this is really a good one for the people of this time. The purpose of the one true God, exalted be his glory, in revealing himself, the purpose in revealing himself unto men, is to lay bare those gems that lie hidden within the mine, M-I-N-E, of their true and inmost selves. The purpose of the one true God, exalted be his glory, in revealing himself unto men, is to lay bare those gems that lie hidden within the mine of their true and inmost selves, that the diverse communions of the earth and the manifold systems of religious belief should never be allowed to foster the feelings of animosity among men, is in this day, I kind of messed that up, that the diverse communions of the earth and the manifold systems of religious belief should never be allowed to foster the feelings of animosity among men, is in this day of the essence of the faith of God and his religion. These principles and laws, these firmly established and mighty systems, have proceeded from one source and are the rays of one light. That they differ one from another is to be attributed to the varying requirements of the ages in which they were promulgated. Now, there's a little context for this next portion. Gird up the loins of your endeavor, O people of Baha, that haply the tumult of religious dissension and strife that agitateth the peoples of the earth may be stilled, that every trace of it may be completely obliterated, for the love of God and them that serve him arise to aid this most sublime and momentous revelation. Last line here, last two sentences, very important. Religious fanaticism and hatred are a world-devouring fire whose violence none can quench. The hand of divine power can alone deliver mankind from this desolating affliction. Religious fanaticism and hatred, a world-devouring fire. So we're going to go ahead with that and move on to the book that we have been studying for a good while now. It is, as you can see, Baha'u'llah and the New Era by J.E. Esselmont. Baha'u'llah and the New Era. And today we are starting on, I was surprised the first time I saw this. Here in this book about the faith and this book about spiritual guidance and so forth, what do we have? Health and healing.
Yeah.
Health and healing. And some people, what's it got to do with spirituality? A lot, an awful lot, and always has. So Daryl, if you would like to begin, please feel free to
For
do
those
so.
of you who are wondering, this is chapter 7 in the book. Turning the face towards God brings healing to the body, the mind, and the soul. That's from Abdu'l-Baha. Body and soul. According to the Baha'i teaching, the human body serves a temporary purpose in the development of the soul, and when that purpose has been served, is laid aside, just as the eggshell serves a temporary purpose in the development of the chick, and when that purpose has been served, is broken and discarded. Abdul Baha says that the physical body is incapable of immortality, for it is a composite thing, built up of atoms and molecules, and, like all things that are composed, must in time become decomposed.
Well, the physical body is incapable of immortality.
The physical body is incapable of it.
Wait a minute, but you know, in my upbringing, in the faith tradition I grew up in, it wasn't always stated very specifically, but we were somehow, at least I, maybe it was my childlike mind, I pictured on Judgment Day physically embodied people rising up out of their graves. It's a frightening thought. I mean, even if you look forward to the coming of Messiah. But here we're being told that the physical body is incapable of immortality because it's a composite thing built up of atoms. And I don't know, it's just, I don't know. I need to find a way to reconcile that with my previously held beliefs, or I had to find a way to, you know, that no, you're not going to need this body anymore once you're done with it here. I just wanted to kind of voice, I don't know, my like, whoa. It kind of really slapped me in the face there. But please continue.
The body should be the servant of the soul, never its master. But it should be a willing, obedient, and efficient servant, and should be treated with the consideration which a good servant deserves. If it is not properly treated, disease and disaster result, with injurious consequences to master as well as servant. Oneness of all life. The essential oneness of all the myriad forms and grades of life is one of the fundamental teachings of Baha'u'llah. Our physical health is so linked up with our mental, moral, and spiritual health, and also with the individual and social health of our fellow men, nay, even with the life of the animals and plants, that each of these is affected by the others to a far greater extent than is usually realized. There is no command of the Prophet, therefore, to whatever department of life it may primarily refer, which does not concern bodily health. Certain of the teachings, however, have a more direct bearing on physical health than others, and these we may now proceed to examine.
Before you proceed to examine that, I mean, again, I'm not struggling with this. I accept it. But the profundity of it, in its simplicity.
Pardon me? Which section? This. There is no command of the Prophet, therefore, to whatever department of life it may primarily refer, which does not concern bodily health. Certain of the teachings, however, have a more direct bearing on physical health than others, and these we may now proceed to examine.
I want to go even further back. I don't mean to just dismiss what Nini asked you to read again, because that's just as profound. But I'm looking at this, the body should be the servant of the soul, never
The reverse.
its master.
Right.
But it should be a willing, obedient, and efficient servant. I mean, that clearly is talking about health and should be treated with the consideration with which a good servant deserves. If it is not properly treated, disease and disaster result with injurious consequences to master as well as servant. So, I mean, if the body is the servant and the spirit is the master, this is just me. I have no authority here. But it sounds like it's saying you can do spiritual damage to yourself if you don't treat your body the way it's supposed to be treated.
Absolutely.
I think that's pretty deep. I just feel that that is, yeah. I mean, we could spend that. That to me is a topic in and of itself that maybe people of faith don't talk enough about. You know, we talk about the big stuff, you know, stay away from drugs and so forth, but there's a whole lot of other things that could come under that too. And then to get back to what Nini was talking about, there is no command of the prophet, therefore, to whatever department of life it may primarily refer, which does not concern bodily health. Camby's is here. Our Camby's in our Facebook group.
All
So,
right.
okay. I know we can't dwell on this too long.
Well, the things that you just mentioned, most of them are covered here.
Mm-hmm,
You know, because when we go on with it talks about some of the other topics, our simple life, alcohol and narcotics, enjoyments, those kinds of things. So
Yeah, and I know that. I just want people to get this is. We can gloss over it very easily because you know it's kind of it sounds like everyday stuff, and yet a lot of times the importance of it, I think, is lost upon us. You know, on an individual level, and also on a societal level. You know, I mean, here we are in the middle of, at least in our society, sort of a health craze, and yet there's still a lot of ways that we can try to live a healthy life that's difficult in society as it exists today. Nini has.
Reverse sometimes, the soul is empty, so they're punishing the body.
Ooh, she done got
I
deep.
think that bears repeating.
Say that again.
You have to repeat it. The soul sometimes is empty because they don't know what they're supposed to do, so they're punishing their body.
Nini said, for those of you, well, we didn't set a mic up for you today. I'm sorry.
Nobody heard her.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, she said that. I've already forgotten what she said.
The soul is empty, and therefore goes on to punish the body, right?
Yeah, that's
If the soul is empty, the body suffers, and
Yeah.
and I think that's important.
yeah. So continue, please.
Simple life. Abdul Baha says, economy is the foundation of human prosperity. The spendthrift is always in trouble. Prodigality
Prodigality. Yeah.
Prodigality on the part of any person is an unpardonable sin. Every person must have a profession, whether it be literary or manual, and must live a clean, manly, honest life, an example of purity to be imitated by others.
There's a line I have in here. I don't know if you have it. I don't know if you skipped over it or not, but I have this line that says, "We must never live on others like a parasitic plant." You don't have that?
I do not have that.
Oh, we have in this one. We must never live on others like a parasitic plant. Okay, go ahead. Okay, that was before every person. Yes.
Okay, we have two different versions of the
Yeah,
same
yeah. We
book.
have two different editions, which is why.
It is more kingly to be satisfied with a crust of stale bread than to enjoy a sumptuous dinner of many courses, the money for which comes out of the pockets of others. The mind of a contented person is always peaceful, and his heart at rest.
My goodness.
That's from Baha'i scriptures. Animal food is not forbidden, Abdul Baha says. Fruits and grains will be the foods of the future. The time will come when meat will no longer be eaten. Medical science is only in its infancy. Medical science is only in its infancy, yet it has shown that our natural diet is that which grows out of the ground. That's from 10 Days in the Light of Akka. Alcohol and narcotics. The use of narcotics and intoxicants of any kind, except as remedies in case of illness, is strictly forbidden by Baha'u'llah. I'm
And
going
that's
to
all
repeat
that
that
says.
line. I'm going to repeat that line because it's a single line and under a single heading of alcohol and narcotics. The use of narcotics and intoxicants of any kind, except as remedies in the case of illness, is strictly forbidden by Baha'u'llah.
Now, even though that's just one line, and it's crystal clear. It's crystal clear. But again, I kind of want to go back to the whole thing about simple life, where it says animal food is not forbidden, but Abdul Baha says fruits and grains will be the foods of the future. The time will come when meat will no longer be eaten. Medical science is only in its infancy, yet it has shown that our natural diet is that which grows. Our natural diet is that which grows out of the ground. And I think about strides that have been made, discoveries that have been made since the writing of this text that fall right in line with what's being said here in these very brief passages about alcohol. It wasn't that long ago that they were saying, like, especially in the case of red wine has health benefits and so forth and so on. And now, that was like back in the 80s, 90s that they were saying that. And now what they're saying is that while there are health benefits in red wine, there are other ways to get those benefits without drinking alcohol. But more importantly, the damage that alcohol can do to the body outweighs any health benefits that you may gain from it.
Sure.
And we can say the same thing about meat. I'm sorry, I love meat. I do eat meat. I try and adhere to a more heavily plant-based diet personally. But think about the diseases that most people now know are often related to a heavy animal product diet. It's just the reality of things. And I don't know about you, but it's uncomfortable to read. And this is just the way it is. It's uncomfortable to read. But again, this whole thing about health and healing coming straight from spiritual writings, coming straight from the prophets. So anyway, before the science catches up, a lot of times we're getting spiritual guidance on this is how you should be living.
Sure. Next. Enjoyments. The Baha'i teaching is based on moderation, not on asceticism. Enjoyment of the good and beautiful things of life, both material and spiritual, is not only encouraged but enjoined. Baha'u'llah says, deprive not yourselves of that which has been created for you. Again, he says, it is incumbent upon you that exultation and glad tidings be manifest in your faces. Again, he says, it is incumbent upon you that exultation and glad tidings be manifest in your faces.
You're supposed to be happy and act like it. Is that it?
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
We were thinking the exact same thing. I was thinking the exact same thing. We're supposed to be happy. And well, anyway, yeah. That was not planned. I just want to make that clear.
It was not. Abdul Baha says, all that has been created is for man, who is at the apex of creation, and he must be thankful for the divine bestowals. All material things are for us, so that through our gratitude we may learn to understand life as a divine benefit. If we are disgusted with life, we are ingrates, for our material and spiritual existence are the outward evidences of the divine mercy. Therefore, we must be happy and spend our time in praises, appreciating all things. Asked whether Baha'i prohibition of gambling applies to games of every description, Abdul Baha replied, no, some games are innocent, and if pursued for pastime, there is no harm. But there is danger that pastime may degenerate into waste of time. Waste of time is not acceptable in the cause of God. But recreation which may improve the bodily powers is exercise. As exercise is desirable. That's from a Heavenly Vista.
Yeah. Are you waiting me to jump in and say something?
Well, no, I'm just giving that a second to sink in.
Yeah.
We are enjoined to enjoy life.
Yeah.
Okay, cleanliness. Baha'u'llah says in the book of Aqdas, be the essence of cleanliness among mankind. Under all circumstances, conform yourselves to refined manners. Let no trace of uncleanliness appear on your clothes. Immerse yourselves in pure water. A water which hath been used is not allowable. Verily, we have desired to see in you the manifestation of paradise on earth. So there may be diffused from you that whereat the hearts of the favored ones shall rejoice. That's from the Kitabi Aqdas. Mirza Abdul Fadl, in his book, The Baha'i Proofs, points out the extreme importance of these commands, more especially in some parts of the East, where water of the foulest description is often used for household purposes, for bathing, and even for drinking, and horribly insanitary conditions abound, causing a vast amount of preventable diseases and misery. These conditions often supposed to be sanctioned by the prevailing religion. These conditions, often supposed to be sanctioned by the prevailing religion, can be changed among Orientals only by commandment of one who is believed to have divine authority. In many parts of the Western Hemisphere, too, a wonderful transformation would result were the cleanliness accepted not only as next to godliness, but as an essential part of godliness.
You know, when you're reading this, along with some of the things that you read previously, I can't help thinking about how even in a modern society such as ours, there are like nutrition deserts where people have great difficulty getting healthy food, healthy nutrition, and so their circumstances kind of I don't want to say force them, but make it very difficult for them to be healthy. We can also talk about the general conditions where it's difficult to simply be clean. And some of that, certainly we all have to admit to our own personal responsibility in all of this, but we also have to understand that there are some areas of society, even ours, where simple things like nutrition and like cleanliness are actually difficult to maintain because of the fact that society sometimes is set up in a way where it's difficult for, let's say, we'll say the poor or the uninformed, the uneducated, to understand the importance of maintaining these standards, and also to simply not make it too difficult for them to maintain those standards. So this, again, we're still talking about spirituality here, but as it manifests in our physical lives. And I can see you put your book down, so I guess it's time for a song.
Be generous in prosperity and thankful in adversity. Be worthy of the trust of thy neighbor, and look upon him with a bright and friendly face. Be a treasure to the poor, an admonisher to the rich, an answerer to the cry of the needy, a preserver of the sanctity of thy pledge. Be fair in thy judgment and guarded in thy speech. Be unjust to no man, and show all meekness to all men. Be as a lamp unto them that walk in darkness, a joy to the sorrowful, a sea for the thirsty, a haven for the distressed, an upholder and defender of the victim of oppression. Let integrity and uprightness distinguish all thine acts. Be a home for the stranger, a balm for the suffering, a tower of strength for the fugitive. Be eyes to the blind, and a guiding light to the feet of the erring. Be an ornament to the countenance of truth, a crown to the brow of fidelity, a pillar of the temple of righteousness, a breath of life to the body of mankind, an ensign of the host of justice, a luminary above the horizon of virtue, a dew to the soul of the human heart, an ark on the ocean of knowledge, a sun in the heaven of bounty, a gem on the diadem of wisdom, a shining light in the firmament of thy generation, a fruit upon the tree of humility. We pray, God, to protect thee from the heat of jealousy and the cold of hatred. He verily is nigh, ready to answer.
For anyone who's wondering, those are the words of Baha'u'llah. We just call it be generous because of the words it begins with, be generous in prosperity. And it's coming from Epistle to the Son of the Wolf. It's actually in Gleanings too, but I believe it's also, it's actually in Epistle to the Son of the Wolf. And so, yeah, we're going to go ahead and continue.
If you'll
Just a
carry
little
on.
bit. Let's see. Effective obedience.
Yes.
This is important. It's all important. I always say it's important, then I say it's all important. But why bother following, this guidance? Listen, effect of obedience to prophetic commands. The bearing on health of these commands relating to the simple life, hygiene, abstinence from alcohol and opium, etc., is too obvious to call for much comment, although their vital importance is apt to be greatly underestimated. Were they to be generally observed, most of the infectious diseases and a good many others would soon vanish from among men. The amount of illness caused by neglect of simple hygienic precautions and by indulgence in alcohol and opium, and I'm going to say, and other drugs, is prodigious. Moreover, obedience to these commands would not only affect health, but would have an enormous effect for good on character and conduct. Alcohol and opium, drugs again, affect a man's conscience long before they affect his gait or cause obvious bodily disease, so that the moral spiritual gain from abstinence would be even greater than the physical. With regard to cleanliness, Abdu'l-Baha says, external cleanliness, although it is but a physical thing, has great influence upon spirituality. The fact of having a pure and spotless body exercises an influence upon the spirit of man. were the commands of the prophets concerning chastity in sexual relations generally observed, another fertile cause of disease would be eliminated. The loathsome venereal diseases which wreck the health of so many thousands today, innocent as well as guilty, babes as well as parents, would very soon be entirely a thing of the past. Were the commands of the prophets concerning justice, mutual aid, loving one's neighbor as oneself carried out, how could overcrowding, sweated labor, and sordid poverty, I'm sorry, I'm going to start that all over again because it's so important. Were the commands of the prophets concerning justice, mutual aid, loving one's neighbor as oneself carried out, how could overcrowding, sweated labor, and sordid poverty on the one hand, together with self-indulgence, idleness, and sordid luxury on the other, continue to work mental, moral, and physical ruin? Simple obedience to the hygienic and moral commands of Moses, Buddha, Christ, Muhammad, or Baha'u'llah would do more in the way of preventing disease than all the doctors and all the public health regulations in the world have been able to accomplish. In fact, it seems certain that were such obedience general good health, in fact, it seems certain that were such obedience general, good health would also become general. Instead of lives being blighted by disease or cut off in infancy, youth, or prime, as so frequently happens now, men would live to a ripe old age like sound fruits that mature and mellow ere they drop from the bough. Yeah.
That's a good stopping.
Yeah, that's a good stopping place. Medical science, let's face it, is a wonderful thing. It helps us deal with a lot of the sickness and disease that is so much a part of everyday life. Some of which, I think it's easy to say, some of these things would still be with us, but not to the great extent that they are.
True.
There's that old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and following the teachings of the prophets is that ounce of prevention.
True.
Yeah, if society would only follow them. And we're going to stop there and move on now. As always, we like to have some time where anyone who would like to offer up a prayer or a reading or a song of your own choosing, this is that time. And as always, we like to start with our Andy Murphy moment. Andy's with us. Andy, do you have something you can share with us today? You'd like to share with us today?
Yes, indeed.
And here he is. Oh, please feel free to do so.
O Son of Spirit, with the joyful tidings of light, I hail thee, rejoice, to the court of holiness, I summon thee. Abide therein, that thou mayest live in peace forevermore. O Son of Being, make mention of me on my earth, that in my heaven I may remember thee. Thus shall mine eyes and thine be solaced. O Son of Man, wert thou to speed through the immensity of space and traverse the expanse of heaven, yet thou wouldst find no rest save in submission to our command, and humble
Thank you so much, Andy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to share?
Sure. Give me a minute.
Please, Terry.
Let's see. Glory be to thee, O my God. The first stirrings of the spring of thy grace have appeared, and clothed thine earth in verdure. The clouds of heaven of thy bounty have rained their rains in the city, within whose walls is imprisoned him whose desire is the salvation of thy creatures. Through it the soil of the city have been decked forth, and its trees clothed with foliage, and its inhabitants gladdened. The hearts of thy dear ones, however, will rejoice only at the divine springtime of thy tender mercies, whereby the hearts are quickened and the souls are renewed, and the trees of human existence bear their fruits. The plants that have sprung forth, O my Lord, in the hearts of thy loved ones have withered away. Send down then upon them from the clouds of thy spirit that which will cause the tender herbs of thy knowledge and wisdom to grow within their breasts. Rejoice then their hearts with the proclamation of thy cause and the exaltation of thy sovereignty. Their eyes, O my Lord, are expectantly turned in the direction of thy bounty, and their faces are set towards the horizon of thy grace. Suffer them not through thy bounty to be deprived of thy grace. Potent art thou by thy sovereign might over all things. No God is there but thee, the Almighty, the help in peril, the self-subsisting.
Thank you, Terry. Is there anyone else who would like to share?
Anthony,
Yes, please. Ralph. Mhm.
Daryl's always talking about love, but you know that I believe we're into your love right now. And there's that song, Love is a Many Splendid Thing. Maybe they've heard it.
Mhm.
Then that song that said, Love is a golden crown that makes a man a king.
No, I have not heard that song. I first want to say thank you. You sent me a song, and I forgot to respond to you. That was a fun song to listen to, the one you sent me last week. But no, I haven't heard that one either. It's clear, Ralph, that your musical experience is much more vast than my own. But you mentioned, what was the name of that song again?
Love is a many splendid thing.
No, he mentioned another song after that. I know he mentioned Love is a Many Splendid Thing. What was the other one you mentioned after that?
Well, I could bring Bobby McFerrin had a song, Don't Worry, Be Happy. I don't mention that, but Love is a Many Splendid Thing was actually a movie. It had Jennifer Jones, and
Right.
Mhm.
it was about a war correspondent in China, and he's killed in battle and everything.
Oh, okay.
Interracial kind of, I mean, between a white man and a Chinese woman.
Mm.
I like it.
I'm sure that was probably cutting edge for its time, huh? Yeah.
1955, I think, but it referred back to 1949.
Ah. Mhm.
But Jennifer Jones also played in with about the story about Bernadette, the song of Bernadette.
Mm. Bernadette. Did he say Bernadette?
Yes.
I thought you said Bernadette. Yes.
Yeah, Bernadette. She was actually born in 1844, just before the Declaration of the Bible. Her name sounds like Bernadette Subaru. It's like a car Subaru. Sounds similar.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you, Ralph. We appreciate that. Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to share? Well, then, we're going to go ahead and let me change our view here and move forward. We always like to point out that this is not just a couple of guys and a few other folks a couple of guys that decided to start, doing what we do. This is a joint community effort. We come to you if you happen to see us. I see this, of course, people who see it through the Facebook feed. That's just me, streaming it through my Facebook page. But many more people see this through the ClearwaterBaha'is.org page, the community of Clearwater Baha'is. and we're always grateful that they allow us to to stream through their page. So you can, for anyone who doesn't see this in real time, or for whatever reason may want to refer to it again at a later time, you can find it on clearwaterbahais.org. On there, they have a YouTube account which has so much content. So much content. I really recommend that anyone who would like to see, more regarding the faith, good teachers talking about the faith and just everyday living, you can go to clearwaterbahais.org, because they have so much more there. Because they do have other programs. One of those programs actually follows this one. And so anyway, bottom line is we always like to, sometimes we forget, but we always like to point out that they have other programming. Hang on one moment here. Okay, Kim just came in. Good morning, Kim. Let's see, I feel like there's something I'm leaving out.
This is a collaborative effort. And if you'd like to know more about the Baha'i faith, if you are not a Baha'i, or even if you're Baha'i, and you want to get deep in, there are several definitive websites you can go to. One of them is www.baha'i.org, www.baha'i.us, www.bahaiteachings.org, or if you happen to be in the Tampa Bay area, you can always go to the Clearwater Baha'i website at www.clearwaterbahais.org.
Yes. Yes. Wow. A moment of silence with an awkward pause.
Not for me.
Not for you, not awkward.
Maybe
for
awkward
you.
for you.
Yes, go ahead, please.
What I have to share is what I shared with you all the time, and it's something simple, something. Actually, it's marvelous. If you are loved, then you are truly, truly, truly blessed. And if you share that love, then everything and everyone around you is blessed. And if you ever want to make the world a better place, the best way to do it is to share the love. So that's the only thing I'm going to ask from you, is that you share your love. Thank you very much.
Since no one can hear you, Nini,
Thank you for joining
what was
us.
it that you were saying? I did mention that. I mentioned it when I was talking about the plethora of programs that they have. And yeah, share the love, folks. Oh boy, hang on. Oh no, this is the right one, isn't it?
It's the right one.
O people of justice, be as brilliant as the light, and as splendid as the fire that burned in the blazing bush, and blazed in the burning bush. The brightness of the fire of your love will no doubt fuse and unify the contending peoples and kindreds of the earth, whilst the fierceness of the flame of enmity and hatred cannot but result in strife and ruin. We beseech God that he may shield his creatures from his enemies. He verily hath power over all things. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Oh, oh. over yourselves. For the evil one is lying in wait, ready to entrap you. Gird yourselves against his wicked devices, and led by the light of the name of the all-seeing God, make your escape from the darkness that surroundeth you. Let your vision be world-embracing, rather than confined to your own self. These are the words of Baha'u'llah. Be world-embracing. Let your vision be world-embracing. Let your vision be world-embracing. Have a good week, folks. Have a good week out there in Facebook land, and hope we see you all here again next week, Sunday, 10 a.m., at least Eastern Standard Time, U.S. time. Have a good one, folks.